Hello, listeners. Episode 250 of Retro Encounter is on the horizon, and we are doing a mailbag episode. Please send emails to the address retro@rpgfan.com, and on episode 250 we will read aloud and respond to as many emails as we can. The questions can be whatever you like, but we especially want recommendations for games to play on the podcast, because we will be choosing one game suggestion from episode 250 for a Retro Encounter episode later this year. Now here is the latest episode of Retro Encounter. Hello and welcome to episode 244 of Retro Encounter, RPG Fan's off-topic podcast of many topics. I'm Mike Sollosi, and today, we're going to talk about RPGs a little bit, probably, but we're just here for one of our, silly podcast games that we do every couple of months. But before I go into the nature of the game, let's introduce the panel, starting with Peter Triezenberg.
Hello, everyone. Here to make history.
And Zach Wilkerson.
Hi, everybody. I'm here to not make history.
And new RPG fan editor-in-chief, Mike Salbato.
Hi, I'm just here to keep everyone in line, apparently.
Yay!
Now, without getting into too much behind-the-scenes stuff, Mike, who has been the longtime creative director of RPG Fan, now officially is the editor-in-chief. John McCarroll, the sort of business side leader of RPG Fan, officially handed over the reins to Mike in June. So part of this podcast is to congratulate Mike, and the other part of this podcast is to learn a little bit more about Mike and the other three of us. So we're going to be playing, you might call it a parlor game or an icebreaker game called Three Truths and a Lie. There's, if you've seen the game show Would I Lie to You or To Tell the Truth, you have an idea of how this goes also. But we'll take turns saying 4 facts about ourselves. 3 of the 4 facts are true, and 1 of the 4 facts is a lie. And then the other people who are not taking a turn that round try to guess which one is the lie. And because I get weird about games, I'm going to be scoring this. If you guess a lie when it's not your turn, then you get 1 point. And if you fool all 3 of the other contestants when it is your turn, you get 2 points. And we're going to do 2 rounds of this, so everyone has 2 sets of 4 facts, with 1 round being facts about your video game preferences and history, so that's like the RPGs round, and 1 that is the off-topic round, so personal facts about yourself, with 1 of them being a lie, of course. So, Peter, Zach, and Mike, do we understand the rules?
We do. I do.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, sounds good. So I hadn't planned this far ahead. Do we want to do the personals round or the RPG round first?
Let's do the RPG round first.
Okay, and I called it the RPG round. Yeah, these aren't all about RPGs. These are just about video games. So the video games round goes first. That's fine. And also, after the person whose turn it is says their 4 facts, the other 3 can ask some clarifying questions like, I don't know, what do you mean by main series? Or around how old were you when this happened? Like a few investigative or clarifying questions, but we're not grilling them. We're not trying to catch people in inaccuracies or contradictions or something. Just so, after they say the 4 facts, we ask a few questions, and then each person whose turn it isn't will make their guess. So, without further ado, Zach, go ahead and tell us your 4 gaming facts about yourself.
All right. So, here are my 4. So, in the original Final Fantasy Tactics, because it's not possible in War of the Lions because of job level and level issues, I beat Bellius and Ygraf before that with Ramza at level 12. I have beaten exactly 4 Zelda games. My most played video game of all time is Tecmo Super Baseball, and my favorite class to use in most RPGs is a ninja.
Okay, so we have Final Fantasy Tactics at a low level, 4 Zelda games beaten, Super Baseball is your most played game, and favorite class in RPGs is ninja. So, Peter or Mike, do you have any questions for Zach?
No questions for me.
No questions for me either, but I am really confused about how the Y graph one could work.
I
can tell you if you'd like.
that
It's all about being move +1 and auto potion. You can do it.
is Tecmo Super Baseball that sort of futuristic one?
No, it's
Okay.
totally realistic. Like I think it uses 93 rosters.
Okay,
so I
I'm
always use
thinking
the
of
Mariners because I was a big Ken Griffey Jr. fan when I was a kid.
right. Well, Ken Griffey Jr. was amazing. I mean, he might be the most naturally talented player I've ever seen. But I'm thinking of Super Baseball 2020 for the SNES. My bad.
No.
Well, what's the most recent of those 4 Zeldas you've beaten?
Ocarina of Time.
Okay. So 4 of the first 5. All right. Interesting. So, if we're done asking questions, I guess it's time to guess. Peter, what is your guess for Zach's lie here?
I'm actually gonna guess the Zelda one.
I think I'm gonna guess the Ninja one. And Mike Prime. What is your guess for the lie?
Ooh, I was going to do Zelda until you asked that question. So I'm going to go with...
And you can guess the same as Peter or I. It's fine. You go with the one you think is a lie.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Tecmo Baseball one.
All right. So we have Peter guessing the Zelda prompt, Mike guessing the baseball prompt, and myself guessing the ninja prompt. Zach, tell us which one's the lie.
I did not personally beat Belius at level 12 with Ramza. My cousin, who is obsessed with Final Fantasy Tactics, did.
Oh.
So that is the lie.
That is 2 points for Zach.
Okay!
Good. Good. There's so
score.
much detail in it. That's why I was sure.
Do you know which one you know why I picked Ninja? Is because Zach doesn't play Ninja in Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, exactly. I'm like
the reason I didn't is because it's all about positionals, and I struggle with positionals in that game.
I mean, I'm a monk main, so I have positional nightmares in my sleep.
I'm sure you do.
Just use True North all the time.
You only get 2 uses of that every 90 seconds. All right. Well,
I might need to switch to a DPS class because being a paladin is really stressful.
This is not a Final Fantasy 14 podcast, although that's not the worst idea. That's not the
I was
worst
saying
idea.
it could be.
Maybe when it's my turn, it'll become a Final Fantasy 14 podcast again. Actually, that's a lie. It will not. So who wants to go next? Zach managed to fool us all in round 1.
I guess I could go.
All
yes.
right. Mike, give us your 4 facts about yourself, only 3 of which are true.
Okay. I have played all except 4 mainline Final Fantasy games. I finished my first playthrough of Chrono Trigger in a single sitting. I have signed copies of both PlayStation Lunar games, signed by Victor Ireland.
What?
And
that's true. What?
and back in the Super Nintendo days, my brother and I like to mess with Game Genie codes, and I apparently did it way too much with my Final Fantasy VI cartridge and permanently altered one of my save files.
Okay, so which one is the lie? Mike has played every Final Fantasy game except 4, finished Chrono Trigger in 1 sitting his first time through, has signed by Victor Ireland copies of the first 2 Lunar games, and in the Super Nintendo days, he destroyed one of his own save files with a Game Genie. So which
I have a
is
question.
it? Okay, go ahead, Zach.
What are the 4 that you didn't beat, Mike?
Boy, that would kind of give it away, wouldn't it?
All right, fair enough.
Okay, Mike, tell us one of the 4 you haven't beaten.
2. Original 2.
Right, got it.
I mean, fair.
When you played through Chrono Trigger in 1 sitting, which ending did you get?
I guess just the, regular beating Lavos ending.
Okay.
Did you bring Chrono back to life or no?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So that's a solid, at least 20 hours, right? Like Chrono Trigger's not hugely long, but still 1 sitting. That's no joke.
Yeah, I have a guess.
I think I have a guess also. Peter, are you ready, or do you have any more questions?
What game was the destroyed save file for again?
Final
Did you
Fantasy
mention
VI.
that? Final Fantasy 6. What were you trying to do with the Game Genie?
Oh, I don't know. We just put in a combination of things, and at some point noticed that it changed the save file.
I see. Okay. Okay. I think I'm good.
All right. I'll guess first. I think that the lie is Chrono Trigger.
That's also my guess.
My guess is the Game Genie one, but
I bet it was Final Fantasy IV if he's lying here.
All right, tell us which one of those 4 facts is the lie.
The lie is that I only have a signed copy of Lunar Eternal Blue.
Oh,
I don't have the first game.
Oh, Mike burned us just as Zach did.
Okay!
I didn't even think about that question.
2 points to the editor-in-chief. But that's not, I know that you love Lunar, so I thought that was quite plausible. It's like, I bet Mike met Victor Ireland at E3 or at a different convention or something. So I thought that was quite plausible. But yeah.
Plus, what the site's history is, was a Lunar fan site. It was like, that seems actually fairly reasonable.
Yeah, but man, like beating Chrono Trigger in one sitting and getting a normal ending, that's like. Did you at least like pause the game and turn off the TV for food or something?
I mean, I had food at some point, but I did not sleep that night.
Oh, yikes!
I mean, to be
truly
fair, and I still regret that I did this, but like back then, EGM did have some kind of walkthrough, and I was so obsessed with the game. I mean, I did follow that, and I don't know why I never do that, but I did do it for that game. So like, I knew what I was doing the whole time, and I do think it was like 15 hours or less, but you know. I had direction.
I have had sleepovers or something, because otherwise my parents wouldn't let me stay up that late ever. Where we played through enormous sections of RPGs in a single night. But I don't think beating one in a single sitting is something I've ever done, except when I was in my 20s and beat, or maybe right around 30, and beat Undertale in one sitting. But that's 8 hours and not 20.
Yes.
I've definitely never done it before. That's amazing. Seriously.
I really, really was looking forward to that game and had a problem.
I mean, I was too, but man, woo, that's incredible.
Peter, if you don't mind, I think I'll go next. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So here's my 4. I didn't realize this, but I think I wrote all 8 of my prompts in a ABCD but WXYZ format, so I apologize in advance. So my 4 facts, only 3 of which are true. I actively disliked both Persona and Ys for over a decade, but now they are 2 of my favorite series. I avoid horror games and have not played a Silent Hill or Resident Evil game for more than a few minutes. I loved all 4 of the 2000s Prince of Persia games, and I'm a little annoyed Ubisoft abandoned Prince of Persia for Assassin's Creed. And last, I have only beaten 3 main series Mega Man games. So that's
I'm fairly certain that last one is true, but
those are the 4. So go ahead and ask me whatever questions you have.
What's one of the Mega Mans that you beat?
11, just in late 2018. So for many years, I'd only beaten 2 out of the 10.
Did you like the 2008 Prince of Persia?
I did. I really liked all 4. The 4 I'm referring to are the Sands of Time trilogy, Warrior Within, and Two Thrones, and then the 2008 standalone just called Prince of Persia. Those are the 4 I made.
Okay, so we're not counting Forgotten Sands on this.
That was a remake of Sands of Time, and that wasn't 2000s. That was I think that was early 2010s.
Was it a remake? I thought it was like a weird half sequel, half movie tie-in thing.
It wasn't exactly a movie tie-in. It was like a reinterpretation of the first one that added details that they were probably hoping to put in future sequels, but it's not the same. The one I love is Sands of Time.
Do you have a favorite NES Mega Man game?
Yeah, I think 2 is the best one. But my sentimental favorite that is sort of the less off the beaten path is 6. I really like Mega Man 6. The jetpack and the power upgrades are great.
Oh yes, Agreed. Okay, I'm out of questions then.
Yeah, I don't think I have any questions.
Okay, so tell me which ones you believe are the lie. Which one or ones?
I think the Mega Man one is the lie.
Yeah, I do too.
The East Persona one is the lie.
Okay, so Mike and Peter both go Mega Man, and Zach goes East Persona.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The lie is Prince of Persia. I've only played one of those games. The only one I've played was Sands of Time.
Okay!
But it's true.
Okay.
I played Persona 1 in the early 2000s and Wanderers from East maybe also in the early 2000s, and I thought they were both terrible, so I didn't care for either series until finally playing Persona 3 and Oath and Felghana. And I've only beaten Mega Man's 6, 8, and 11. I have a weird complex about them. I've gotten to the very end of almost every Mega Man game in like the final Wily stage or the final boss, but was unable to beat them because I'm just I don't know. I have a weird complex about him.
Wow, I would never have guessed that.
But I've beaten like 5 or 6 of the Mega Man X games, a bunch of spin-offs, but in the main series 1 through 11, I need that Mega Man X dash.
Shoot, I missed that it was main series because I was going to say, like, I thought you at least finished Mega Man Legends on our podcast.
I did, but I said main series when we were reciting those facts.
That's
True.
Okay.
You did.
So I also get 2 points. We are so far we are terrible at guessing lies, but great but great at writing a prompt. So let's see if Peter can make it 4 for 4. Tell us your 4 video game truths and lie.
All right, so my 4 video game truths and lie are: I got the neutral ending in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne on my first playthrough. The first game I owned was Super Mario Sunshine. My favorite Zelda game is The Wind Waker. And I once tried to speedrun Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and it still took me about 12 hours.
I already have a guess.
Okay.
Hi.
So let's see. Neutral run first try in SMT Nocturne. Your first video game was Super Mario Sunshine. Your favorite Zelda is Wind Waker, and you tried to speedrun Superstar Saga. I have some ideas. I know you're a big fan of sort of that early 2000s GameCube GBA era, because Peter, a lot of games that you've talked about on the podcast or have specific expertise in are those. So I'm inclined to believe Sunshine, Wind Waker, and Superstar Saga. But I'm not 100% sure. Are you going to be on those Superstar Saga episodes next month, dude?
Absolutely. I actually picked up the remake for it.
Right. I've had the remake sitting in my CD wallet for maybe about a year, so I'm eager to bust that out also. Huh.
It's a good version. I reviewed it for the site.
Oh, awesome.
I'm excited. I miss Alpha Dream.
Me too. Mike, do you have any questions for Peter?
Boy, I don't know. This is actually, for me, this is the hardest round, I think. Well, I say that, but I didn't get any of the other ones right either. But I'm having trouble deciding which one I think is the lie. No questions. I'm just going to have to guess at one.
I'm deciding between a couple. I think there's only one that I'm confident is true. So, okay, I'll guess first.
All right.
Peter, I think the lie is your first game is Super Mario Sunshine. Zach, go ahead.
I think that your favorite Zelda game is not Wind Waker, because I've listened to the Essential 10 podcast.
Oh, that's right. Peter likes. Oh, right. Okay, Mike, what is your guess?
See, I didn't listen to that one, but that was also my guess because I think it's something else. So I'm going to go with Zelda.
I'm worried that it's Twilight Princess now, but I can't.
That was my guess.
Yeah, I can't change it. But I cannot change my answer. So, Peter, which one is the lie?
The lie was the favorite Zelda one. Yep, it is Twilight Princess.
Predictable!
You fought hard for that on the Essential 10 podcast. I remember that.
The Essential 10 was one of the most frustrating recording experiences we've ever had.
Yes.
But it is also probably one of the. It's a podcast episode that I still hear about from my friends who were listening to it at the time.
It was a thing.
Yeah,
it was a thing.
I've blocked out parts of it because it was stressful for me too.
There was a lot of legitimate rage in that episode.
Rage is a strong word. Frustration and complete disbelief that Kingdom Hearts made the damn list are definitely true.
Yeah. It was entertaining to listen to, I will tell you that. This is long before I was with the site and I listened to it.
to put my experiences into perspective, Mike's correct. I am a big fan of the GameCube GBA era.
Yeah.
I was growing up during that time, and the first console my parents actually got us was a GameCube in 2002. I didn't own any video games before that. I did beat Nocturne and got the neutral ending on my first run, but I was using extensive walkthrough because I do not have time for that. I did try to speedrun Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and I did beat it in about 12 hours, so it's not exactly a good speedrun, but I did it in one sitting, so I'm kind of proud of that.
Yeah, I believe
Nice.
Superstar Saga and SMT3 because I think you told us about your SMT experience once, or at least me privately. But I was less sure about the other two, but just thought, oh, Peter loves the GameCube. I bet Wind Waker is right, but I was wrong.
It is in the top 5 Zeldas for me, for sure. I do love that game.
All right. That's the first 4 down. And at the halfway point, I have 2 points. Mike Salbato has 3 points. Zach also has 3 points. And Peter has still participating in this podcast. Before we go into the second half, Mike, as the new editor-in-chief, is there any interesting change that you think may be forthcoming in RPGFan? We'll give the listeners a tease.
I guess I can talk about the fact that we're, actually launching a new site soon, even though I've been talking about it on the site since 2017. But it really is happening soon.
It is close. I've seen it. It looks amazing.
Yeah, parts of the redesign have sort of already gone into effect, but it's a much larger scale redesign is planned and forthcoming, which is going to be great. But it's still going to be a lot of green and black, right?
And white.
Okay.
Depends on whether you use a certain mode.
That's true. All right. So let's move into the second half now. The game is the same, the rules are the same, but these are facts about ourselves that are not related to video games. All right. So Zach, go ahead and tell us 4 things about yourself, only 3 of which are true.
All right. So when I was in college, I got kicked out of a lecture for laughing at something that someone said. So the professor asked me to leave. I was the MVP of the Little League All-Star game when I was 12 years old. I take 25-minute showers when I am at home, and I am terrified of crabs.
Interesting. A few of mine are a little similar to one of yours. You'll see what I mean when it's my turn. And this is amusing because there is another person, an RPGFan, who's scared of crabs. I won't say who to protect his identity.
Do you play Dark Souls, Zach?
No. I mean, I tried Bloodborne briefly, and I was like, whoa, I lose a lot. I also demoed Code Vein at E3, and I was like, I can't even get to the first boss.
There's a part in Dark Souls 3 where there are these giant crabs that become alert to you if you start walking on the surface of the water.
Yeah, no. That's a hard no for me, Doug. Hard no.
What was the subject of the lecture where you got kicked out?
It was a physics and sports class. I actually don't remember. It was a physics course, and the professor didn't know anything about sports, but he was teaching a physics and sports class. And the person behind me made a joke from Office Space, and I laughed really hard because I thought it was funny. And I was in the class with a couple of my friends, and the professor shouted at me to get out.
When you were in Little League, what position did you play? Were you a pitcher, or was this MVP award for at the plate?
I was a pitcher, so I pitched 2 innings in that game. I also played third, and I hit a home run and a triple in that game.
Oh, cool! That is a good game. Damn. I think I believe the showers, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I just don't think I need to ask Zach any shower questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm withholding my questions on that front.
Okay, so
what's your preferred shampoo brand?
Head and Shoulders.
Okay.
Oh no, do you get the Head and Shoulders that's like shampoo, conditioner, and body wash? We don't give an F. Just put it on yourself somewhere.
I don't do the body wash version. I just do the shampoo and conditioner, the 2-in-1. I don't do the 3-in-1.
Yeah, I usually get a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, but once I was shopping for cleaning products and saw 3-in-1s, I'm like, what level of male laziness have we reached? that 3-in-1s even exist.
It for travel before, like when I was at E3, that's what I was using. I took shorter showers there because I was trying to be polite.
Okay. All right, if we're moving to cleaning products, and I think that it's time to try and guess the lie. I am going to guess that the fear of crabs is the lie.
I'm going to stick with the shower one.
All right, Peter, which one do you think is the lie?
I'm going to take a stab at the Little League one.
All right. Mike Salbato got it correct.
Oh.
I actually have not taken a shower in my home in 5 years. I only take baths.
Predictable!
Oh.
Oh, what do you know?
I'm glad you added that second part.
I was gonna say, because once we're allowed to go out in public again, and we start doing like E3 stuff. I'm sorry, Zach.
It's like maybe you don't want to sleep in the same bed as someone who has not taken a shower in 5 years.
Why do you think I slept on the couch? Weird E3.
I was gonna say it's gonna be like
Wow.
All right, so Mike Salbato got a point that round, but otherwise we were blanked. And Mike, it's your turn. So tell us 4 facts about yourself, one of which is not a fact at all.
Okay. I tried not to do too many like number ones, but I have 2 number ones here, so oh well. I've seen every Studio Ghibli movie except one. I've attended 17 E3s. When I was a teenager, I visited Mattel's secretive toy design like branch or building. And I bought my first car on a whim on a detour from buying a sandwich at Subway. I kind of accidentally bought a car instead.
All right, so I think I intrinsically believe Ghibli and E3 because I know Mike loves Ghibli and has attended a zillion E3s, but if he had seen most of the Ghibli movies, I mean, I think he would have tracked down that last one.
What's the one you haven't seen, Mike?
Pompoko.
Oh, really? Huh.
That's a good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What favorite Ghibli movie?
Oh, Nausicaa, definitely.
The very first one, or unless you count Cagliostro as, but that's Miyazaki, not Ghibli. I don't. Never. No. It's not Ghibli. Ghibli Studios hadn't formed yet, but Miyazaki did direct it.
I say, didn't Laputa come first? I could have sworn that.
No, Laputa was his second one, I think, or third.
Oh, okay.
Laputa is after Nausicaa.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. What's your least favorite?
I'm not sure what my least favorite would be either.
I know what mine is. Ponyo.
Maybe. Oh, I love Ponyo. I might want to say The Wind Rises because I really just didn't feel like it went anywhere.
I liked Wind Rises, but only because Werner Herzog was in the dub.
I don't think it was bad. Yeah. I don't think it was bad. Just if I had to pick one that was my least favorite, it's probably that one.
I was sold on Ponyo from the very first "Ponyo wants ham" line. It's like, yeah, Ponyo wants ham. I feel you, Ponyo.
Wind Rises. You know what's adorable? War crimes. What kind of car did you go buy?
Mustang.
Oh, really?
Mustang. Like what year?
2006.
Wow. I used to own a Mustang, but it was an '89.
You got your first car in 2006. So how old were you when this happened?
Okay, look. I mean, the first car that I purchased.
Okay. Sure.
Yes.
My first car was a hand-me-down from my deceased grandmother, which is not one of my 4 facts that you'll hear about in a minute.
Oh, good, because that would have spoiled it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mine was a '92 Grand Am.
Mine was a 95 Toyota Camry. So okay.
I have my guess.
2012 Corolla, as long as we're doing this.
Yeah.
I think I have my guess too. Are you ready, Peter?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Zach, what's your guess?
I'm going to guess it's that he did not visit as a teenager Mattel. He did it as an adult.
Peter, what's your guess?
I am going to guess the same. Yes, the Mattel one.
I'm going to guess Ghibli movies because I think he's just seen all of them. So, Mike, which one is the lie?
It's the Ghibli one.
Predictable!
Boom!
I have not seen all of them. There's actually more than one I haven't seen.
Oh, okay. So I'll take the points anyway.
No, the other ones are all true. I actually was going to go to Subway and said, you know what? I'm going to go look at that car. And I bought it.
Nice.
And Mattel I actually did visit. Somehow. I still don't know how that worked out. I used to collect Hot Wheels, and I would draw them when I was younger. And I knew a guy who knew someone there, and I sent in some designs and like, look, I would like to work for you one day. And like they invited me down there, and I got to see cars that weren't out yet. And
oh, that's awesome.
It's wild.
Did they have did they like I don't know, like did they have a bunch of weird He-Man action figures and stuff there? Because that's what I would have been into.
Maybe. I mean, there were Barbies and Hot Wheels, but like I didn't see everything there. It was mostly a Hot Wheels tour.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So I got to see the toilet Hot Wheel before it was actually released. So, if you want a hot rod toilet, they exist.
All right. Well, None of my facts are about hot rod toilets or Ghibli movies, but weirdly, two of them are kind of related to crabs. So I apologize. I hope this does not give you anxiety, Zach. But
Well, continue.
here are 4 facts about myself, one of which is a lie. I'm terrified that I've already told you all of these stories before, so mine might be easy. I am terrified of the deep ocean and even get anxious looking at the ocean out of airplane windows. I have 1 sister, but my mother has 7 sisters. I was allergic to shellfish for many years, but one day my allergy mysteriously vanished. And last, I once got detention in elementary school by barking like a dog and meowing like a cat in class.
I really hope that one's true. I got detention one time for smashing my whole lunch on my chair for 4th graders to come sit in. So, you know.
I don't know. I got in detention because my professor thought I was cheating on a test when I was just like.
Your professor? There's detention in college?
No, my teacher thought. Of course I haven't. I was in elementary.
Well, we were a bunch of rebels in elementary school, I guess.
Apparently,
but for very different reasons. So, you have any questions about any of those?
I mean, you live in Virginia, the ocean one. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any questions. I have a guess.
There are things called beach vacations, Zach.
Indeed there are. You live very close to one.
Indeed.
So no scuba diving for you then?
I've never gone scuba diving. To be fair, like, at those beach vacations, which were usually either in Assateague or the Outer Banks, I don't mind going into the water, like, up to my ankles or knees, but just it's the vastness of the ocean and things like the undertow being always there and deep ocean
How are you an
animals.
environmental science major then? Come on, man.
Because I literally took classes in coastal hydrology and coastal geomorphology. I'm very interested in sand and rivers and much less interested in the ocean.
I mean, there is some weird stuff that lives down there, so...
Yeah, and I read every article about them out of just complete morbid anxiety, and I just get more scared at the end of it. I don't ever want to be out in the deep ocean. Do you remember there was a movie trailer, well, it was a movie, but I only saw the trailer. I think it was Open Water or something. Or yeah, people are like scuba diving, and then the boat leaves without them. Like that is a nightmare I have had at least a lot.
I think the lady doth protest too much.
What is it, 47 meters down or whatever, both of those movies with the sharks
Yeah,
and
that
the
was a
cage
similar.
and everything.
Yeah, that was a similar one too. I don't know if I've seen that trailer though. I think I only heard about it.
The second one is like they're literally like stuck in a reef with diminishing air supply.
Yeah, okay, I know. I want nothing to do with that. Absolutely not.
Terrifying.
And Zach, I'm sorry if this frightens you, but like I was allergic to shellfish for a long time. I think it might have been iodine or something, which is, you know, shellfish is rich in that. But then I just had a bunch of crab. I've had a bunch of crab rangoon once at a party, and I thought they were cheese wontons, and they didn't make me sick. So sometime in my early 20s, I stopped being allergic.
Yeah, don't worry. I have my guess already, but you can stop trying.
Okay, Mike, what's your guess?
My guess, and nice try trying to turn this into that movie podcast, Peter, but it's not going to work. My guess is that your mom does not have 7 sisters.
Peter, what's your guess?
That is also my guess. I know you have one sister, but...
Yeah.
Zach, what's your guess?
My guess is the ocean.
Zach was absolutely right.
Predictable!
I was trying to over-explain my way out of it. I actually love swimming in the ocean.
I told you the lady doth protest too much.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Very good.
But yeah, my mom has 7 sisters and 1 brother. It was 9 kids with the 1 brother having 4 older sisters and 4 younger sisters. I also have a lot of cousins. So Zach gets a point from my personals round. And we have one last one to go, and it's pretty close at the top. Zach and Mike both have 4 points, and I have 3 points. So there's a way this could go. So, Peter, let's hear your 4 personal facts, one of which is a falsehood that you did some creative writing to create.
My dreams of victory already have been dashed, alas. But we'll still go ahead and see which of these, at least one of these you should know if you've been paying attention to Slack at all. Okay. I have been naked in public behind a bank. I have snorted a line of coffee grounds off a kitchen counter. I have been confused for Mike Sollosi. And I have eaten a whole bucket of earthworms.
Okay, so when you say you've been confused for Mike Sollosi, I know what you mean, and that's the truth. Okay, never mind.
You just inadvertently helped Mike and I, Zach.
Sorry. I was confused by the term, and then I was like, "Oh wait, I remember what he's talking about."
Yeah,
No,
I also knew that one, but the other three, I'm definitely on the fence on.
The fact that two of those are true is kind of blowing my mind.
Yeah,
exactly.
Peter, I this is going to be boring, but I want to know how old you were for all three of those other stories. Ballparking, it's fine.
16, 21.
Is that for 16 for nudity? 16 for nudity and 21 for coffee?
And 12
for worms. Okay, none of those are insane. But they're all a little insane.
This is really good, Peter. Good job.
I sort of believe the bank story. Maybe you had to do a uniform change or a clothing change under terrible circumstances. But the other two, Yeah,
I have a guess.
I think I do too. I'll go ahead and go first. I think the lie is the bucket of worms.
I also think the lie is the bucket of worms. Sorry.
All right, this is all good. And Mike, what's your guess?
Yeah, me too.
Peter, what's the right answer?
I have never snorted coffee.
Okay!
Ah.
Wow.
Peter gets 2 points.
That seemed the most believable.
See, nope. I've played this game before. I did the same thing at a work icebreaker when I did student calling, and I have never seen my boss look more confused than when I dropped the coffee grounds one, because he thought he thought that was the most plausible.
It is the most plausible of the three for sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, I'm not getting into too many details about the public nudity. It was a Boy Scout meet thing where you were kind of right. It was kind of a half uniform change, half I was seeing someone at the time. The worms thing. I was a dumbass kid, and it rained a whole bunch, and I got a whole little bucket of them. And there was actually a book. I think it was like How to Eat Fried Worms.
Yeah, I remember. I do remember that.
Wow.
Book. Yeah.
And I was I was terribly gullible as a kid, so I was like, I'm going to try this because that sounds great. And
did you try them?
No, I didn't. I just started eating them.
Did you eat all of them?
I didn't make it through.
Oh, I thought you said you ate like a whole bucket of earth.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said
it was like a tiny bucket.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like, a rain pail sized bucket, which just made the whole thing terrifying.
At that point, I would have probably gotten sick.
Right, that's why I thought it wasn't possible.
And this is one's very recently, and I was throwing you guys a bone with this one.
Yeah.
I was like 2 days ago. My sister saw a group photo of me and the guy and everyone from E3 2017, and thought that Mike Sollosi was me.
Yeah,
and vice versa.
I'm
very confused because I don't think we look that much alike.
I don't think so either. I mean, we're different. You're a little taller than I am, and my hair is darker than yours. Like, what was she thinking?
I think, is it the glasses? Is it the fact that I'm slightly out of frame? I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I was more in the middle of the picture. That's true, and we were both wearing glasses. I sort of have my glasses. I'm always taking them on and off because I only need them for long distances. But yeah, your sister. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this was a test, and your sister was body snatched at one point.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe maybe that's what's happening. She lives in Oregon now, so who knows?
All right, so we're in a bit of a pickle here. There is a tie at the top. Both Zach and Mike Salbato have 4 points. So, I mentioned in my 3 truths and a lie that one of them was I once got detention in elementary school for barking like a dog and meowing like a cat in class. With the knowledge that elementary school is roughly ages 6 to 12, how old do you think I was when that happened?
I have a guess.
Please don't guess the same number. But, Zach, if you're confident, go ahead and give me a guess.
I'm going to guess 8.
Mike, what is your guess?
I'm going to say 9.
I was in 5th grade and 10 years old.
Ooh.
Okay!
Possibly 11, but I'm pretty sure it was 10. Either way, Mike is the winner. Congratulations. Mike Salbato, new editor-in-chief of RPGFan.com, wins our 3 Truths and a Lie game. Hooray!
Wow, I don't even care about being editor-in-chief anymore. I won the game. That's a real prize.
All right, well, congratulations to Mike. And listeners, I hope you enjoyed us sharing some personal things about ourselves and some completely fictional things about ourselves over the course of this podcast. I had fun. I learned a little bit.
Possibly too much.
And I did share my secret Mega Man shame with the world.
I shared my Zelda shame with the world too. Don't worry.
I've beaten exactly 10 Zelda games. Because I documented it a little while ago.
I've played like all of them, so I mean I just haven't beaten many of them.
I mean, everyone who's been listening to the podcast since Rob was on them knows how much of a literal child I am. But
but listeners, I hope you enjoyed this. I thought this was fun. I'm glad we did it. Maybe we're gonna do more. I don't know, more game show-y things like this on the podcast in the future. Because, I mean, those trivia game episodes are among the most fun we've ever done. And I think I'm going to try and do another one before the year is over, but I cannot give you a date on that.
I'll be happy to lose again.
But I will give you some dates on some other episodes. Next week, we're doing an episode on Trials of Mana. Again, you might remember in July of 2019, we did 2 episodes on Trials of Mana, the Super Famicom version that was on the Switch Mana Collection. But now we're going to talk about it in a new context, talk about the recent Trials of Mana remake and how it is similar or different to that 1995 game. And so we're talking about that this week. I just beat that game like 45 minutes before we recorded this podcast, so I am definitely ready to talk about it. And later this month, we're doing 2 episodes on Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together, the Super Famicom strategy RPG that had ports on the PlayStation and Saturn, and then a remake on the PSP. And Zach, I'm pretty sure all of us on the podcast are playing that PSP remake. Can I assume that with you?
I mean, I know that Joe is, and I certainly am. So yeah,
that makes 3 of us. So please look forward to 2 episodes on Tactics Ogre later this month. And but let's talk about next month a little bit. Peter, you mentioned that you attempted to speedrun this game once upon a time. In August, we are doing 2 episodes on Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which is, again, a GBA original, but at least Peter and I are going to be playing the 3DS remake. And we talked about Mario and Luigi on the Mario RPGs episode like 3 years ago, and on the GBA episode around 2 months ago. So I haven't started it yet, but I have plenty of time, and I'm really looking forward to getting to that one because I haven't played that game since the GBA days, which I don't know. It's been at least 15 years. I'd have to check some release stuff, but it's been a long time since I played that game, and I'm thrilled to get back to it.
I haven't had my GBA copy in forever, and I've never played the remake, so this is an exciting time to revisit one of my favorite games from back in the day.
I'll get to that right after I finish Tactics Ogre, but neither of those things has quite happened yet. Speaking of August, we're at episode 243 now, and episode 250 is upcoming pretty soon, and that episode is going to be a mailbag episode. Please send emails to retro@rpgfan.com. I will not respond to messages sent via Twitter or Discord or otherwise. They have to go to that email address, and we will read emails on the air on episode 250, which I believe is late August or early September. We'll read everything that we have time for as long as it's appropriate to air, and please include game suggestions among those emails because we will be taking a game suggestion from episode 250 to be a podcast game later this year or possibly early 2021. So please send emails. The email address is retro@rpgfan.com. But that's not the only place you can visit on rpgfan.com. RPGFan also has message boards, plus a Facebook page, an Instagram page, a Twitter page, a Discord server, a Twitch channel with something streaming basically every day, as well as 3 other podcasts: Random Encounter about randomness, Rhythm Encounter about music, ... And Phoenix Edge, mostly about current events, which is recorded every Monday live and posted every Wednesday or Thursday. You can review Retro Encounter and those other 3 podcasts on iTunes, Google Play, Podcast Addict, or whatever listening venue you are using. And recently, with the alongside the site upgrade that Mike mentioned earlier in the podcast, you can listen to Retro Encounter on Spotify as well as many other places. This change in hosting really benefited us, but we love feedback, so please give feedback however you are able to. I think that's about all except for the sign-off. So, panelists, let's share with the listeners how they can reach us more directly, starting with you, Zach.
You can email me at zachw@rpgfan.com, and you can also find me on Discord at zachw.
And new editor-in-chief of RPGFan.com, Mike Salbato. How can listeners find you?
Well, I'm technically on Twitter at Valkyrie Studio, but I don't go on there that much. So you could probably just email me at mike@rpgfan.com.
It's weird that we're both Mike S. So you get to be Mike at RPGFan.com, and I get to be Sollosi at RPGFan.com. It worked out. Peter, how can listeners find you?
You can find me on the hellscape that is Twitter at I Have Fury. If you want to see my blistering hot takes and or screenshots of my Pokemon. Or you can email me, petert@rpgfan.com, where it will go straight to my spam folder because it's just really aggressive for some reason.
All right, and listeners, you can find me most easily on Twitter. I am at The Real Monsoon most of the time, at Evoker for Dogs other times. My takes are lukewarm at best, but that's the way to find me. I'm also Monsoon Mike on the RPG Fan Discord, and Sollosi at rpgfan.com is my direct email address that I mostly ignore. So let's see, I still have some Trials of Mana post-game to get to, so thanks so much for playing, everyone. Congratulations, Mike, for being our one and only Three Truths and a Lie champion. Thank you, good night, and good luck.